Okay, let's see how this goes. Let's see how this works. This is just a test. This is a test. Club Pizzle, take one. Um, I know there's nobody in here right now. That's because I'm just testing this thing out, and I'm gonna send this out and see what happens here. Welcome to. I don't even know what to call this shit right now for real. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. I ain't gonna hold you. But um, I want to discuss something. I want to discuss some boxing. The last couple of days has been a couple of fights announced, a couple of big fights announced. First being Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder Part 3. That's the first one that was announced. And the second one that was announced was Manny Pacquiao posted on his Twitter account that him and Errol Spence is going to be fighting in the summertime. So I want to talk about those. I want to start with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury 3. And if I'm going to be honest, I don't want to see a part 3 to this. That's not something that I want to see. That's not something that I'm looking forward to. That's not something that I really care about is Fury Wilder 3. What I do care about is the fight that was announced a couple of weeks ago, and I guess they couldn't get to the negotiation table and the negotiations weren't right. And that's Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua in Abu Dhabi or somewhere overseas, and they're both getting 75 million apiece. And they're getting 75 million apiece because it's the unification bout and it's the fight to be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. That's the fight that I want to see. That's the fight that I'm looking forward to. That's the fight that I care about. I don't care about Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder Part 3. And I'm going to give you the reasons why. Reason why I don't care about Wilder and Fury 3 is I saw Wilder Fury 1 and I saw Wilder Fury 2. With the exception of 2 knockdowns in separate rounds and one being in the final round of the first fight, Deontay Wilder got his ass kicked. I'm not looking for that. I don't want to see that. I don't care about that. I care about seeing an undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. There hasn't been an undisputed heavyweight champion of the world in about 20 years. And it's probably been longer than that. So I don't care about Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury 3. Granted, I'm going to watch it, but we already know what the outcome is going to be. We saw what happened in that second fight, right? So there's no need and there's no point in seeing these two do it again for a third time. But and if I'm Tyson's Fury, if I'm Deontay Wilder's camp, I'm looking at the situation like this. If, big if, it goes according to plan, you still can get the third Fury fight, or you can get the Anthony Joshua fight next year. How about you, Deontay Wilder? How about you fight Andy Ruiz in the fall, fight the winner of Joshua Fury next year, and get the bigger bag, and get the bigger payday, get the big money for the opportunity to fight and win the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Makes a whole lot of sense. We all know, like, we've all followed boxing, we've all watched boxing, and I'm a big boxing person. The heavyweight division has been shit for like 25, 30 years. Damn near. Since Lennox Lewis retired. That's 20. I ain't gonna say 30. I'm gonna just go 20 on the low 20s. Boxing has been bad. for a long time, right? Right? So heavyweight boxing. I mean, you've had the Klitschko brothers who dominated for a long time. They dominated, the Klitschko brothers dominated the heavyweight division so much that the heavyweight division became boring and mundane, and nobody gave a shit about it. And that's when the emergence of the welterweight division. That's when Floyd Mayweather came along and his fights were exciting. That's when Miguel Cotto, Antonio Margarito, that's when Manny Pacquiao came along. And then the younger generation with Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. and Adrian Broner came around. All of those guys came around, right? Nobody gave a shit about the heavyweight division. Yes, Deontay Wilder made people pay attention just because of his one punch knockout power. But we've seen in his last couple of fights him being exposed. Tyson Fury exposed him. When he actually gets in there with somebody who will box and stick and move and play the sweet science, we've seen what happens, right? So I'm really just not a big fan of seeing that. I don't want to see him. I don't know what I just did. I'm trying to I'm doing something here, man. I'm trying to experiment. Wait, give me a second, man. Hold on. I'm gonna roll this. I'm gonna run that back. I'm gonna run it back. I'm gonna see what happens here.